All right, ladies and gentlemen, originating from Brooklyn, New York, raised in New Jersey, and then having spent 13 years in Los Angeles and now 2 years here in the South, Hollis Lance Liebman is the 1995 National Physique Committee Teenage National Heavyweight Bodybuilding Champion, magazine editor for Men's Exercise, Exercise for Men and Natural Bodybuilding and Fitness, where he proudly worked in the Empire State Building, contributing contest reporter, photographer for Fitness Mania and Divas magazines, bodybuilding judge, screenwriter, and International Federation of Bodybuilders official. Outdoor Physique is his 13th published fitness book, and the third and concluding volume in his Physique trilogy. In addition, Hollis is a passionate animal advocate, as evidenced by his pup squad, Lucy, Oliver, Alfred, and Hero, and he has authored 6 children's books with the Everyone Loves Lucy series. As a personal trainer for 20 years, Hollis has worked with some of Hollywood's brightest stars. He is honored to celebrate today with you the culmination of his 30-year fitness journey. This book and this day are dedicated to the memory of his parents, Dale and Bruce Liebman.
I'm going to do my best. It's very emotional. Happy New Year, everybody. Thank you for being here. Welcome to the Outdoor Physique book premiere. In the classic movie, Revenge of the Nerds, at the end of the movie, the head of the fraternity gives the mic to the new president-to-be. And he says, "Okay, kids, say what you gotta say." Rarely in life does a man get the chance to speak his soul, and I'm gonna do that right now. My name is Hollis Lance Liebman, and I'm here to finish what I started. What I started began in 1989. Ken Griffey Jr. was baseball's hottest rookie. Public Enemy releases Fight the Power. Madonna releases Like a Prayer. Batman is the cinema's hottest movie that summer. Globally, the Berlin Wall comes down. But for me, I found my life's passion of bodybuilding. You see, when you're 13 and you're bullied, as I was, you don't have a lot of control over your life. But I learned at 13 that this, the body, is one thing we have control over. I fell in love with it for my whole life. I've never been a team player. I tried soccer and football when I was a kid, and I failed miserably. I remember running during football and my pants fell down because I didn't have a belt on. I quit right there, and I was laughed at and ridiculed. But through bodybuilding, through fitness, I and I alone would be responsible for my accolades. I fell in love with it. Around the same time, my family joined the local YMCA. I was relegated to the weight room, the pit, the dungeon that my friends are all familiar with. And there was a guy there that was bigger than me. He took a liking to me. At the same time, my mother, wearing a bathing suit, was in the hallway going to the pool. You see, my parents struggled with obesity most of their lives. This guy, not knowing that it was my mother, made a derogatory, and he's not here right now, but he made a derogatory comment at my mother's expense. And I was very upset, but I didn't say anything. But I learned the obvious lesson right there. You never ever criticize anybody. Never make fun of anybody, ever. And my friends here will tell you that's trying to better themselves, be it in a gym or a classroom. But it wasn't until years later, putting this book together, that I realized the other lesson that my mother taught me that day. And that is this. If you don't like the gym, it's really okay. I'm a stubborn son of a... I always thought the gym had to be it. If you don't like the gym, there's more than one way to get to a goal. My mother that night, all she wanted to do was go swimming to feel better about herself. There's more than one way to get to a goal. This is my story. A story about ambition, loss, victory, pain, change, reinvention, and ultimately finishing that which we began. And ladies and gentlemen, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, if you get anything from my speech today, it's to finish what you start. That's what I'm about, because this is a tough world, and if I can do it, all of you can too. You have to finish what you start. I don't know how I can convey to you the meaning of these books in my life. This is 30 years of my life, representing my report on what I have seen in fitness and largely in life. They're my thoughts, my beliefs, my philosophies. By some miracle of God, I have been able to finish these books and have them published to help the world, and I'm forever thankful. They are a look behind the curtain at what makes the wizard run, if you will. They are just more than exercise books to me. They are so much more. Now, when George Lucas wrote the original Star Wars trilogy, he wrote a big script, but he had to extrapolate what would become Episode 4, Star Wars, not knowing at the time if he'd get to make the movies. It became the phenomenon that it did, and he made those movies and then some. I'm not saying I made Star Wars, but I'm saying from the inception, it was a trilogy, and I didn't know if I'd have that opportunity. And again, by some miracle, it's happened. I'm going to keep it real here, like I always do. All wars and battles, and I'm talking about a mental war here, come at a cost. For me, this book was very hard to do, the hardest of all 13, because at the time it was my most difficult period of my life. And my mother was on the phone with me 12 to 14 times a day, and she got me through it. And she said, get up and finish what you started. I don't want to hear it. So without my mother, and I'm not being dramatic or histrionic, I would not be here with the finished book, and I don't know if I'd still be here. So I'm very thankful. Now, as some of you have already asked me, and I will say now, the books work on their own. It's not a prerequisite for like Algebra 1 or 2. You can pick them up, or you can combine them to form Voltron, if you will. 80s reference, thank you. It works any way you like. So, and I'll get into the difference as I get through this. But 13 books, ladies and gentlemen, how does that happen? It was really supposed to be one book. There was an opportunity for me to be a gun for hire, a writer, and I begged and pleaded and cajoled and did whatever I could. And those of you that know me know I'm a pain in the ass to get the assignment. I even said, you don't even have to pay me. They said, well, we have to pay you. And they paid me. And I guess they liked what they saw, because I was offered many more books. But here's the thing. I have a problem with being a gun for hire and being put into a box of parameters and being told to paint in black and white. If you can paint in color, life is too short and precious to not do so. That's just my process. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, the genesis for the Physique trilogy was born. A series of books that I would have put out, the director's cut, if you will, about what was important to me and what I think works to help the world. And again, I don't know how it happened, but it has somehow happened. You may look through the books and say, wow, look at the photos. What great shape you can get in. This must be easy for you. I've seen too many fitness people that gloat and they're like, yeah, it's easy. It is not easy for me. Obesity runs in my family, as does type 2 diabetes. So I have to watch it. I go up and down in weight like everybody else. I'm human. I'm an emotional eater. I don't drink or do drugs. I like food. In fact, when I'm done here today, and I think I deserve it, I'm going to eat until I can't move. But for just today, well, so, but to quote Rambo, John J. Rambo in the latest installment of the movies, it never goes away. I'm just trying to keep a lid on it. I am an emotional eater, and it's something that I deal with, and maybe other people here have that too. Each book for me was a personal quest to outdo my previous condition. Even if no one else cared, I did. It was a thread that kept me going to get through, because let me tell you, it's hard enough to write a book. It's impossible to get in this kind of shape and then have to think and be the director to make sure you get everything. But that was the challenge that I undertook. I will leave that up to you if I got better with each book. I was pleased. We were given one day in which to photograph this book at Joshua Tree National Park in California. I did everything by the book. I got a permit. I didn't want to have any problems. And I'm a very real person, as those of you that know me know. I was scared out of my mind. All my other books were in the gym. It's been my home for 30 years. But here I would be outside, relegated to the outdoors. I prepared meticulously, drove that day with the photographer and the model. We got to the outskirts, and I asked for a moment of silence. And I remember I blasted a Metallica song to get into character, and off we went. It was a long, tedious day. I knew by the end of the day that we had a book. The two ladies may not have known, but I knew. Me being a worrier, something I got from my mother, just couldn't relax until I got the damn disc a day or two later that had all the pictures on it, because the photographer wanted to go through them to make sure that they were good, but it all worked out. For those struggling with something in life, and that's all of us, the word I use is compelled. It's a word I come back to. It's an action-oriented word. If you're compelled to do something, you will not only do it, but you will do it to a high degree. When I go forward with something, I don't stop for anyone or anything. Life is too precious. It's just how I run. And it's hard, but you have to see something through. I'm going to say it again and again in order to get goals accomplished. When I was writing this book, I came up with the phrase, passion is the heartbeat of achievement. I'm going to say that again. Passion is the heartbeat of achievement. If you're lucky enough in this world to have passion, it's half the battle right there. If you have a dream, keep it close, protect it, nurture it, don't let anybody get in your way, and I'm going to get into that more later. I'm skipping, but you wouldn't know because I have the script, you guys don't. For those further struggling, I would suggest remember why you fell in love with something in the first place. Maybe you're in pain right now, working out, or stagnant, or whatever it might be. I look back at that scared, bullied, tormented 13-year-old me. I want to talk to him. I want to say, stop with the Aquanet. Look what happened. Does anybody know what Aquanet is? Yeah. But I want to say everything will be okay. Just hold your dreams close to you. I do want to say that I'm proud of what I've accomplished here, but I'm human like everybody else. If I can do it, so can you if you really want it. But I do want to say I'm a stubborn person. And I've never relinquished the toys in the sandbox, if you will. I've never given up my passion, ever. And that's the way it is. Let's talk about the book. Why the need for this book? A lot of my readers have written and said, you like your books and your writing style, but I'm not a gym person. I don't want to go to the gym. It's not for me. So that got me thinking about what the book could be. Then I woke up one day and I realized there's a problem when I can push all this weight this way at the expense of my back hurting, shoulder hurting, and I said, okay, this is what the third book needs to be. A book for people that are in pain, that want to move well through life, and that don't necessarily like the gym. That's what the book became. I liken fitness and life to being that of mercurial. That is, they're never stagnant, it's ever in flux. You can either roll with the punches, adapt, or perish, essentially. Fortunately, there are tools within this world to help you adapt and flourish in life. But life is ever changing, and we can only push this for so long until it doesn't even matter anymore. It matters we can get up and move well in life. The book is essentially about putting down your phone and going and playing outside. As we did in our youth, we had free, unrestricted ranges of motion. Now, there are a lot of bodyweight books out there, but I think they're unfairly relegated a lot of times to push-ups, squats, and dips. Mine, at least, is so much more. It is not a book about hardcore hiking, running, or climbing. You don't even have to be outside. The operative word here is portable. You can do it outside or inside. No gym, no membership, just you. If you're on vacation or on a business trip, you can do it in your room. It's also not a book about preventing aging because, ladies and gentlemen, we cannot prevent aging. But it is a book that manages to have you age well and feel well and move well through the aging process. And that's what this is about. For any age, sex, and or level. It's also less about aesthetics, that is the size of the arm, and more about its functionality. The movement of the arm, how we move and feel and get around in life. When I had my first house in Los Angeles, the first place I put money was a process called bolting. Bolting is a reinforcing of the substructure. Earthquakes happen in California. The guy told me, he goes, it's not money you'll readily want to spend, but you'll be happy you did, because if something happens, you have fortified your home. I liken Outdoor Physique to a book about fortifying the inner self, because SHIT happens in life. So how is my book different? I utilize the planes of motion. So if you took your body and did the left and right half of the body, this is the sagittal plane responsible for forward and backward motion. If you took the front of the body and the posterior, this is the frontal plane responsible for abduction and adduction, or movement away and towards the midline of the body. And finally, the transverse plane, which is the upper and the lower portion of the body, responsible for rotation and move. Now, as my gym friends will tell you, most exercise runs along one path. Take the curl, for example. It's the sagittal plane for flexion and extension. But life doesn't work that way, does it? We find ourselves twisted and contorted in all different ways. Take, for example, if you're in your basement or substructure here, you might be in this position for a period of time trying to get things accomplished. Bodybuilding, which is my life, but generally doesn't help with that kind of stuff. But the movements within this book do. Now, lately a lot of vegetarian documentaries are involved. I've seen a number of them, and I have yet to get through one and say, that's it, I'm giving up chicken and beef. When I leave here, I'm getting wings anyway. But for those of you that might be going, all right, bodyweight book, I don't know. Maybe you're in pain right now. Maybe your gym gains are stagnant or you're bored of the gym or need to change. What I'm saying is there are things in this book that you can put in your current arsenal to make yourself better. And above all else, what makes us all equal, besides we all bleed and we're all human, is we're all trying to better ourselves. In some capacity, it's not a competition. That's what it is about. I was asked before the difference between the books. Peak Physique is a in-gym transformation. If you want to get ready for a wedding, an event, a reunion, a bar mitzvah. Complete Physique expounds upon that to keep you within striking distance of said conditioning, again, in the gym book. But Outdoor Physique, and again, you can use them together or separately, is completely different. It's a book to be pain-free and to move well in life at a time where maybe the gym just isn't for you for whatever reason. To wake up pain-free and just to feel good about moving through life. That's what this book is. Okay, some very personal things. I want to say, ladies and gentlemen, everything I've ever achieved in life has been because of passion and discipline that I got from bodybuilding. I'm not talking about the muscles and all that stuff. I'm talking about the mental acuity in which to get goals accomplished. I've been very fortunate. I've met everybody. And the experiences that I've had are otherworldly. I don't name drop usually, but today I'm done. I've met Joe Eater, Jack LaLanne. I got to train Hugh Jackman. Mike, it's a true story. Mike Tyson came up to me on the gym floor and gave me his phone number one day. Chris Jericho, arguably the greatest professional wrestler of all time, wrote the foreword for this book. I flew to the Frankfurt Book Fair, which is the largest book fair in the world. People in Barnes & Noble know about it. And at the time, 2 of my books from different publishers were on display there for a global audience, which I almost fainted. I couldn't believe it. I also got to do stand-up comedy in Atlantic City when I was a bodybuilding judge during the halftime show. I got yanked off the stage. My boss was terrified because I was a little PG-13, but it was a cool experience. What I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen, and I could go on, but I won't, is I keep myself accessible. Now, I'm not Stephen King selling billions of books, but I think there's a responsibility to help people. You wind up on this valuable real estate that is publishing. And that's why, and my friends will tell you, if I can help, and I also ask questions at the gym. I help because that is my responsibility, to help people in any capacity, period. People have asked me what is next. I believe life is choices, and I believe that you don't get it. Sometimes things you think you want or need, you just don't get. That is life. I also think that if you have something to do, you do it now, because it's never going to be the perfect time. You do it now. I didn't wait to do this. I did it now. I also believe that you must allow no one to write your story other than you. No one. If you have a boss, a relative, or a friend that gets in your way, you get them out of the way. Because dreams are worth fighting for. I am proof of that, by some miracle today. As I said earlier, if you have a dream, you must protect it, you must nurture it, you must hold it close. It is, to me, one of the most dearest things on this planet. Okay, now the third act. We're getting there. I have a lot of thank yous. I must thank Barnes & Noble, and specifically Mr. Travis, for allowing this event and me in your store today. It is an honor. I don't care how many books I have out. It's an honor to be here. My publisher, Hatherley Press, for putting out the latter 2 volumes in the Physique series. I thank them. Ryan and Andrew. My design team and editor, David and Simon, for making a beautiful book. Susan Sheridan, the photographer, Daniela Schiller, the model. Joshua Tree National Park, I thank them for allowing us to photograph in their beautiful national treasure. Gorilla Wear, my clothing sponsor, thanks for all the free clothes. Keep it coming. Thank you. And a special thank you to Miss Lisa Purcell. Lisa was the one that gave me that first book, and I begged for that job. You must never forget where you come from. And I never will. It's because of Lisa that I'm here today, so thank you. To every English teacher that has ever graded me, critiqued me, read me, thank you for helping my talent or lack thereof. Teachers are very important people. My brother is a teacher. Marshall is my brother, who also, and I'm going to mention this, has lost over 100 pounds, not through the gym, he did it his way. We need to appreciate teachers because they're the future of this world. And I'm not just saying that because two are present. It's true. To anyone that's ever flipped through, read through, picked up, utilized a book of mine, traded with me, thank you for allowing me to help in some capacity. Money comes and goes. We won't be here one day. If you help somebody, that's what matters. Help somebody if you can. As my friends do every day in the gym. James and Will. And to everyone here, thank you for coming. I've been in the South 2 years now, and I want to thank you all. But I have to say, to me, where I come from, this is not a buggy. It's a cart and a leg. Just said, you know what I'm talking about? It didn't go over very well. Nice try. All right. I'm getting there. All right. All right, this is going to be tough, but it's no secret that this book is dedicated to the memory of my parents, Bruce and Dale Liebman, who are gone 2.5 years now. I think they'd be pleased that they appear in the back of the book, albeit it's a small photograph. I had a small pixelated camera at the time. My parents are in the book, and it reads, "This book is dedicated to the memory of my parents, Bruce and Dale Liebman, who indeed made a boy believe he could fly. They did. I'm still flying. I just wish that they were still physically here to fly with me." On that note, I have to say a few words about my parents. This is the last issue of 1987. When I was in 6th grade, I did a weekly newspaper called the Liebman Times. Lunch was 95 cents. I charged a nickel. My father would take these to work and run copies for his son, to support his son's dreams. And I will never forget that, my father, Bruce. This issue was particularly interesting because I did an interview with Little T. Pity the fool. So my father. Word about my mother now. It is my opinion that a mother is the most sacred person in this world. Period. My mother, Dale, was my best friend. In 1993, she took her son to his first professional bodybuilding show. My mother, who had more of this than anyone I've ever met, stopped on the busy Manhattan streets in front of the Beacon Theater, then reading Mr. Olivia Dorian Yates so her son could get a photo of his hero. Only a mother would do something so selfless. The following year, 1994, my first bodybuilding show, my mother drove to Point Pleasant, New Jersey, even though she was concerned about her weight and perhaps what others would think. But here's what Mom learned. Bodybuilders and gym people are there to better themselves. Nobody gave a crap what she looked like that day. By the end of the day, here's proof. Everybody fell in love with her. Here's the mama smiling and laughing at a bodybuilding event. I have to say this, the night before this picture, this is how selfless and precious a mother is. The night before, my mother paid for a hotel room so her son could get a good night's sleep for his first show, slept in the car. Because Mom, rest in peace, snored a little bit, and I couldn't sleep. My mother slept in the car, only to come in at the crack of dawn to try to sleep a little bit. So what I want to say, it's my third page, sorry. If you're here, your mother's still around in your life, you tell her that you love her, you give her a hug. For me, because I can't. Please do that. Let her know that you love her. I always sign at these events in a specific color and for a reason. It's just how I am. For Peak Physique, I signed in this blue pen because for that book I used Superman colors. Superman mentally got me through the making of that book. I signed in blue. For Complete Physique, I signed in this gold pen because it was then my gold standard of book. I didn't think I could outdo it. But for this, the last book, today, ladies and gentlemen, I signed in purple because perhaps like many of you, I was wounded here very badly. It's a nightmare during the initial stages of this book, but I'm a survivor and I'm still here. I want to say, why do I keep going back here? I want to say, sometimes a journey starts out with more than just you. And the important thing is that whether it's a bunch of people or just you, that you finish the journey, you cross that finish line. This is life, and people come and go, and they bail on you sometimes. You must never bail on yourself. And remember that you always have yourself. I'm a survivor, and that's why I sign in purple today. I'm almost done. I want to offer a few words. Never stop learning. Anyone that thinks they know it all knows nothing. I have 13 books published, but I have so much more to learn, and I look forward to a lifetime of doing so. May your journey take you where you wish to go. I am proof that you can get there because of this miracle. I also want to say, if you're unhappy in life, and they don't tell you this, you're allowed to be unhappy. Do something about it. I wasn't happy. I'm a student again in school, and I'm very proud of it. While we're alive, take the reins and do what you have to do. Life is very precious, and don't wait. For any of you writers here, I need to talk about the craft of writing because I am a writer. It's my own passion. The greatest advice I ever got on writing was to tell the truth, to write from here, write till you bleed, let it out. My greatest advice to you is to simply write. My other advice is, if you want to get published, you can get published, but you have to do it by any means necessary. I have a problem when people write and they aren't published, when people say they're not writers. I don't want to hear that. If you write at home or you're in a store, you're a writer. That's the way it is. But I also want to say it's very valuable real estate. And this is a business. If you want to get in the store, you can. But here's how you go about it. You write these publishers some book that's going to make them so much money that they cannot deny it. I'm going to also offer you writers another tip that you didn't see coming. I have a lot of contacts, and I'm going to point my career wherever I make. Maybe it won't get published, but I can get it in front of a set of eyes. But I'm going to tell you something. I got a 2-book deal because I went to a Barnes & Noble similar to this one in California, looked at books that were similar to my genre, and wrote to them. Now, I sent a damn good sample of my work, but it got me a look in the door, and I got a 2-book deal. So if I can do it, you can do it. In conclusion, when they laugh at you and say your dreams are rubbish, fight for your visions and become 13 times published. Mission accomplished. Now open the floor to any questions at all. If I can answer them, I will. If I won't, I will shut up until they throw me out. But any questions are good ones. Anybody? Yes?
Does the book help with hip hop?
Anything that's a problem, I would say go to the doctor first and get clearance. With the book, you have the doctor's orders. It will help you to, it helps with posture, and it will help with alignment again, and it will help you to find a smooth pathway of motion. So I would say with the doctor's blessing, it will help. Anybody? Talk about it a little bit. Yes, yes. Thank you, Will.
Yeah, repeat the question.
Will wanted me to expound on nutrition a little bit. It all comes down to goals. I think what most people want, I can't speak for everybody, is I mean, it's very easy to get skinny. It's easy to get bulky. But it's the composition of maximal lean muscle, minimal fat. That's why we go to the gym, right? Nutrition is part of it, but when I hear people say it's like 90% of it, I have a problem with that. Because is that to say that if you ate perfectly, you look 90% of how you reached it? It works as a table. Training is a leg, nutrition is a leg. So cutting through all this, because I can yap. If you want to gain lean muscle and be relatively lean, I would recommend 1 gram of protein a day per pound of lean body weight. So if you weigh 200 pounds, roughly 200 grams a day in small meals throughout the day. Carbohydrates are energy. That's all it is. So carbs I would recommend on non-training days, 1 gram. So that same 200-pound man as an example, 200 grams a day. On days he is training, maybe a little bit more, maybe 1.5 grams. Fat is the third macronutrient. It's very important for hair. It didn't work for me. Skin, joints, and all that kind of stuff. So fat would be roughly a third of that, or 66 grams a day. Small meals per day. I also never travel anywhere without having food with me. Now, the good thing is, and in Complete Physique, I really go into where you can eat out in healthy restaurants to get a healthy choice. But ladies and gentlemen, you know, it's 2020. There's almost nowhere you can't go and get something healthy. So you're the customer, it's your hard-earned money, so wherever you go, you tell them you want it a certain way. And it all works together. The other thing is, results are not contingent on time spent in the gym. I've heard people train five hours a day, 3 hours a day.